Hi guys, in today's lesson I'm going to share with you another healthy breakfast recipe that I call an egg white McMuffin sandwich, and it tastes great. This is another recipe that's super easy and convenient for you to prepare at home, and one of the best parts about it is that this is something that you can use for a lunch, a dinner, whenever you're in need of a really good and healthy balanced meal. This can be prepared in just a matter of a few minutes. So I'm going to introduce you to the ingredients that you see here in front of me, and then I'll show you how quick and easy it is to prepare. Okay, as you know by now, you should start off breakfast by first choosing a 100% whole grain. And for this recipe, we're going to be choosing these Thomas 100% whole wheat English muffins. How do you know they're whole wheat? If you turn it over and you look at the ingredients list, the very first ingredient should have the word whole in it, and this product indeed does, and it's whole wheat flour. Also, these English muffins contain 3 grams of fiber per serving, so we know that we're dealing with a true whole grain. These can be found in almost every grocery store now, and this is what we're going to be starting off our breakfast with. Our protein source in this recipe are going to come from egg whites. So what we're going to do is take 2 large eggs and separate the whites from the yolks. Because the egg white is where all the protein is, the egg yolk is where you're going to find the dietary cholesterol and some of the fats. So we're going to separate the two so that we're just dealing with the egg white, which is pure protein. Now what I really like about this recipe is it provides us with a really good opportunity to introduce some vegetables into our morning routine, which we traditionally don't do. So I recommend that you use a sliced tomato and some raw spinach. Now I love raw spinach because if you remember from the last recipe that we did, we talked about superfoods, and we used berries and ground flaxseed and oats as good examples of superfoods, where spinach ranks near the top of that superfood list because of how many nutrients that it packs per calorie. Very few foods have the amount of nutrients that it provides per calorie. So use spinach, find reasons to use it because of how healthy that it can be to incorporate into our diets. Now we're also going to be adding some non-fat shredded cheese. So pick your favorite non-fat. It really doesn't matter when you're going fat-free. Those of you who have become a little more label savvy, when you notice the back of this nutrition facts panel, you're going to see that there's probably a little more sodium in there than what you'd like. But don't concern yourself with that too much because we're actually going to be using just a very small amount. In fact, we're only going to be using about 1/8 of a cup or less of this cheese. So the sodium really doesn't play that big of a role. We're using it because it's going to provide us with a little extra protein, a little extra calcium, but it's going to provide us with a nice taste too in this recipe. So we're going to be adding some in. Now we're also going to be adding some healthy fats to our English muffin. And I like to use this Smart Balanced Buttery Spread because it's a combination of butter and margarine using healthier vegetable oils without the harmful fats. Now, what I mean by harmful fats is that butter is higher in saturated fat. When we get too much saturated fat in our daily diets, it can raise our bad LDL cholesterol levels. Margarines, on the other hand, are typically higher in trans fats. And as you now know, trans fats are one of the worst fats because they raise the bad LDL levels, just like saturated fats, but they also lower the good HDL cholesterol, the exact opposite of what we want to have happen and why you should avoid them. This contains very little saturated fat and no trans fats. It uses healthier vegetable oils like I've mentioned. So we're going to add this to our English muffin for a little extra flavor. Finally, what would a healthy breakfast be without a serving of your favorite fruit? Packed full of vitamins, minerals, and fiber, this needs to be a staple most mornings when you prepare a healthy breakfast. Okay, let me go through and show you how quick and easy this recipe is to prepare. The first thing that we're going to do is to separate the egg whites and the egg yolks. But before we do that, I want to explain to you the importance of making sure that you use a small microwavable bowl. And the reason is because when we cook the egg white, it's going to form the shape of this bowl. So we don't want something that's too wide that when we go to put those egg whites on our English muffins that they're going to be draping out over the sides. So we want to have something that's smaller and compact so it fits on there nicely. Okay, so make sure that you put a little non-stick cooking spray on the inside before you separate these. We're going to put this in the microwave and cook it for 30 seconds, and we're going to pop these in the toaster. Okay, our egg whites are almost done. You can see there's still a little bit of runniness there. But this gives us a good opportunity to put a little of our shredded cheese on there. And again, we're just going to use 1/8 of a cup or less of this just to provide a little extra flavor. Just going to put a little on the top. And then I'm going to put this back in the microwave and we're going to cook it for just 10 more seconds. All right, that looks good. Now this is gonna come out smoking hot, so we're just gonna let that cool a little bit while our English muffins finish toasting. Okay, these are done. So I'm gonna go ahead now while they're still hot and put a little bit of this butter. Now, before I do that, let me show you another trick. If you use the tip of your index finger to its first joint, that represents about a teaspoon. So when we add butter to our English muffin, don't even use that much, which is a teaspoon. So we're gonna use about half of that, or a half teaspoon. And I'm just gonna even put it on just one of these slices. That's all. I'm just using that small amount. And now my egg white, which because we use that non-stick spray, is gonna fall on there very nicely, just like that. And then all we're gonna do is just top it with our sliced tomato and our raw spinach, a optimal health breakfast, and don't forget to add that piece of fruit. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson, as you saw once again how quick and easy it can be to prepare a really healthy breakfast each day. And don't forget, you can use this for lunch or dinner. You'll be able to download and print today's recipe directly underneath this video. I'll see you again next time. Have a great and healthy day.